Right. Hello, hello. Let's click this. Go over here. Let's make sure this. No, I just dealing with Kip. No, Kip is yeah, Melissa's here, but I thought I'd get him in the other room, and he was like, "No, no, no, I know what you're doing. You're trying to get alone time." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm trying to do some work." Yeah, and then of course he's like, "Oh no, no, you don't want me in this room. I definitely want to be in this room." So yeah. All right. Hold on. Oh, there we go. Sorry, just gonna grab stuff. Had to make sure I had some coffee for this morning. All right, so overall, not tons of movement. Aussie dollar is the only one, and again, basically just straight down. And again, it's that dollar strength that we saw, as well as again, we knew that it was going to be a proxy for gold, and again, with such emphasis, you know, the emphasis being that the battle of inflationary front is just not there. Very interesting article came out yesterday from the I guess ex CEO of Home Depot, and made a couple different comments, but said that the policies right now are just horrible. That corporate America is not in a great place. We're seeing gas prices rise. I guess the person he said in California last week, 2 weeks ago, whatever it was. And again, prices are higher now, but basically said that he paid $6.43 a gallon for gas. And he says, obviously, as gas prices rally again and grain prices continue to go higher, we're going to start seeing this inflationary pressure coming back. The exact opposite of what the Fed was talking about. So right now we're avoiding a recession, but at the same time, the inflationary front is not in a good place. He actually had some very pointed comments that basically saying the reason we are where we are is because of the administration. So yeah, basically saying that went to war against the energy sector, right after taking office, which again pipeline start, and again that's where he put a lot of it. But interesting, he said if you look at where the sales on things are, so yeah, the fight of inflation is real, but again, man, I can't even imagine $6.43 a gallon. Like that's like Europe prices, right? I know California people are special, but they always have the highest. But can you imagine $6.43? Insane. Sorry. Yeah, it's insane. 643. Yeah, insane. Yeah. So anyway, not like that here. Not yet. 360 is bad enough. I hate paying 360, but double that, I can't even imagine. So the data we got today. German preliminary CPI came in exactly as expected. Spanish came in where it did. Core PCE came in exactly as expected on a monthly basis. So again, not really. I mean, slowed a little bit, but for the most part, also continuing to rise. So not not really what we want, right? It's not the ideal reading. Kind of in line. Employment cost index went down just a smidge. It was already expected to go down, so maybe that helps a little bit, but I don't think a lot of people really understand that one. It's not one of those ones that's like, oh my God, it's going to be an awesome day in the market. The employment cost index on a quarterly basis went down by 0.1% over forecast. There's not a whole lot of market adjustment for that one. So we'll see. Overall, for the most part, I mean, again, no surprises. Market had factored in point 0.2 in core PCE. The Fed knew what that was earlier this week. Besides that, very, very slow. Again, this is, we're at the very, very end of July. This is vacation week. 13, 14. This one has been insane lately. 150 ATR, 37, even dollar Swiss up 39. And a lot of these are just really retracing from where they were yesterday, the big moves. Euro pound, you can see zero, right, in 24 hours. Hasn't moved. And then again, pound yen, supposed to be the biggie, only 61, right? Only 61. Not too bad. Okay, sorry. Getting messages. Um, so, one sec. One sec, guys. I gotta send this message real quick. One sec. Sorry, I just had to send that. He's meeting with somebody today, so I want to make sure he has the dates. Obviously, again, as far as news goes over the weekend, currently right now, We still have consumer sentiment coming in. Whoa, what the heck did I just do? There we go. We have consumer sentiment coming in. I don't expect a big mover tomorrow. Nothing Sunday. We have a little bit of manufacturing in China. Again, 40, the difference between 49 and 48.9 is not really anything big. So again, just be aware of that one. And then obviously Monday morning early, we have the flash estimates for CPI on a yearly basis. Um, Now, these are important. Again, they are CPI. They're that big number. There's core in there as well, and it's on a yearly basis. Remember, I would say that the mandate is kind of like 2.5, right? 5.3 on a yearly basis is a lot. And again, it's coming down. It's not the nines and tens that it was, but it's still way too high, right? And the question is, at how fast of a speed do they want it to come back down? That's going to be the big thing. But if there's any surprises in these numbers, I do think that really kind of sets at least the euro off on Monday, Sunday night, Monday morning. Well, I guess this is 5 a.m. So yeah, it'd be more of a morning thing. And remember, it's not right at the open. It's in a little bit, so that definitely helps out as well. So it's something that we need to kind of focus on. It's super early. It's Monday, so you know, unlike traditional news based trades, we tend to look at it an hour and a half beforehand and kind of see where it's pushing it. The reality of this one is the U.S. session hasn't opened yet, so things like the euro dollar will be a little bit weird. It'll be a little bit skewed. Not that it won't, the data, won't move in a traditional, kind of news based way, but when I say but, again, it will be less volume, right? Because the U.S. markets are not really online. So that's what we're dealing with. As far as the VIX goes, obviously we had the big spike yesterday, right? As things started to collapse, as people were looking at things. Um, Obviously, the data yesterday kind of justified a bigger move. It's deteriorating back again, and everything is in agreement, and I think it should be right. The market has had a day to kind of absorb everything out there. There was no major additional news that we needed to worry about today. Again, none of the data this morning necessarily was surprising. I mean, I guess consumer confidence could be a gigantic miss, but I highly doubt it's going to be. Anything like too wild, right? I mean, it's consumer confidence. There's not really a big difference, and it doesn't really tell us too much going forward. I mean, I guess if it comes in at like 40, I don't know, maybe the consumers. I don't know. I don't think that it misses by that much. I think it pretty much comes in pretty in line with what we're looking for. Yeah. So again, seeing that deterioration, not surprised. Indices all in the green right now. NQ up big, 1.4%. Russell 1.28. Commodities. Oh, thank God. So oil, we talked about hitting 80, and it did. It hit 80 yesterday. It went to 80.60. I was like, oh God, we're getting close to that. On this burst, I was like, oh Jesus, we're at 80.50 right now. So it's putting new highs in, and again, we finally got a little bit of reprieve. We're back down at 1918. I'm sorry, 79.20. Thank God, right? Whew, thank God it pulled back. I was like really nervous about that yesterday. I was like, oh God, we're gonna close above 80, and that's gonna be like the new floor. And it's like, oh. So I'm excited about this one, but on the flip side, natural gas got punched up 1.5%, and the overnight back up to 260. So, you know, is where it is. Gold right now up 0.5%, silver up 0.5% as well. And again, typically silver is double, so back up to 1956, and only back up to 24, like 25ish range, 23 to 25ish range for silver, which not horrible. I do think that gold needs to come down a little bit more, but that 1950, I believe, is the equilibrium point. Again, supposed to be doing double, and it's not doing double right now, which leads me to believe that right now it's just kind of, it's just consolidation, kind of getting it back down, wiping some orders out, kind of preparing for next week and any of the news we have coming then. So, typically you will see double the movement, and right now, if it's exactly the same, it's just the market kind of equalizing out going into the weekend. Yeah. Let's look at the Aussie dollar first, because again, Aussie is currently the biggest one, being down 97. Now let's continue to push down. We got a little bit of a hiccup when we said we were looking for kind of a nice little pullback, and we did actually hit the bottom zone here. And we mentioned it, 1, 2, 3. This is hit number 4, that zone, and it tried to Harry Potter, and maybe you were able to get a Harry Potter on there. Yeah, that's on. It did pull back right late last night, and then continued to push lower. And again, it based here right at that other level. Kind of came down, went back and used that same level to push it lower. Now, again, I think we'll delete a lot of this in here. Again, there was a couple different opportunities to get in. We mentioned a big area there, and you can see that's where we drew it yesterday. You can see it did pull back, in its over consolidation. I thought we'd get a little bit more of a hiccup here, but right now it's like nope, just slam this one to the downside. That's kind of where this one's going. So looking for a decent bottom. We have finally hit the 78 from this next push. So let's take this off. And you can see we're all the way playing with this zone right here, right? This area. And we even mentioned that before. It drove pretty deep, so not really the best zone. And you have a touch here, but it's also one that's been grabbed a few times. So right now we're kind of looking this as a target level, right? And again, this is that initial push. Let me see. Actually, this is a 23. Oh, I didn't even check it. Kind of a 23, right? Kind of a base in there. Pulled up and grabbed the base in this level. Let's pull that now. Down. 23 there. Oops. My bad. My bad. Yeah, I tried. Yeah, actually, that was. Um, that's where we're right now. So that's where we're at. Again, we're a little bit late for this trade. I actually didn't even see that one. I had it zoomed. That's why it's hard. I know some people like just try to trade on their phone, but I just feel like you cannot see enough real estate. You can scroll back and see it all, right? It's not that it's not there, but it just, to get that kind of global view, it just that the global view is just not there. That's the hard part. So yeah, this actually wasn't a horrible little trade. I think I'd be okay with this one. Some dollar strength rolling back in and then seeing this continue to falter. Um, eh, Trying to see if I like. It's definitely too late now. And the question is, do we hold here? I don't know. I think if you're already in it, you're good. I wouldn't use the level a second time. I think the level's done. So, you may have gotten in this one. How deep are you in so far? Yeah, you're at 30 pips right now. What was the risk level on that one? 15. Actually, wasn't a bad trade. Now I'm kind of mad that I missed that one. Three should be right there. Yeah. Yeah, it's even in the right spot. It's not a bad trade. Would not hold that one over the weekend. So at this point, move the stop loss to break even, walk away from the computer, be done with it. Also yen. Yeah, look at the whipsaw. All this whipsaw right here, all the way back and forth. And a lot of this had to do with the yen, right? Obviously, we saw data from the yen. It was like, oh, are they going to raise? Are they not going to raise? What are they going to do? Right? And in reference to that, that was last night. Tomorrow, today, right? This, right? On a yearly basis, it actually creeped up, right? Creeped up versus the forecast. It was 3.2. It's 3. They're still holding. There were some mentions of things, to shock markets with a policy tweak, right? Right? Taiwan's economy emerges from recession as spending recovers. So again, half decent data, and that's what threw this one for a loop. It was like, oh God, what do we do? And that's why you see this craziness. Straight up, straight down, right? And then it's just rallying back up to that 50% mark. So yeah, get some of these out, and we'll leave that there. Let me see, did this? I'm gonna pull this, and we can leave those. Clear some of these out. I don't care about that. Good, fine. Down. Move it to the 23 on the second side too. That one, that. Problem is, this whip up and down is really kind of made this one weird, right? Because otherwise, if these two whips didn't exist, right? If these two whips didn't exist, this would be a decent little Harry Potter trade, right? Right? You got a big rundown in price, obviously news based, but it's not there now. It's not there. Uh, the bottom is kind of garbage too. actually like this one higher. I do like it higher, but unfortunately, I can't get a level from it because of these two whips, right? Because of those two whips. Yeah. I wish there was something better in this one. I really wish there was. I like that yen play. I like the fact there's all that emotion in there, right? Right. I'm all about that emotion there, but just not gonna give it to us. So, yeah, I think this one comes back up. I'd like this one to rally back up. I'd like to be high on this one. Going into next week. I think that's the best bet, right? Your dollar. All right, so your dollar. We're looking for a bounce above. We knew there was going to be a lot of problems. You didn't really get the correct entry on it. We are looking for a bottom. The bottom actually came in much lower, right? We knew where this was coming in here, and we mentioned, hey, listen, look for a good bottom. No good bottom here. Came back down, struggled, didn't even get as high as again, and then we started to finally break levels. So we broke two levels. We're sitting right around 110, and yesterday we talked about how 110 is going to be a one of those levels where um, you know price is going to get stuck, right? It's a big psychological level being a 10. You get the double zeros in there as well. So it's one of those things. It's like using it as a trade on a Friday. It's not always the best spot. Again, we did get a pullback. Here's what the pullback looked like. That's about what I was thinking height wise it was going to go to. Um, Funny enough, it did kind of use this bottom level here. But again, it's at the 110. We're not the best spot. Looks like it tried to use the 23. I missed it by a little bit. Did it use that level? It did use that level. Um. So yeah, got a little Harry Potter. We've talked about this before. A little 9 for 25, 9 for 28, and that's actually we're actually going to adjust this a little bit. A little bit. We're going to go a little higher. Let's go here. It does become a 10. So yeah. So this is an old setup. Where it is now, though. Again, nice little racetrack over here. Yeah. Besides that, again, nice little track here. Unfortunately, right now we have to mark it that big, which is kind of large. Yeah, it's 24. Let's see. Yeah, still 20. Ugh. It's not the best. I guess I would say it's good, but not the best. So yeah, what I would do is I would look for right a push through, and pull back, and then look for that to go higher. Question is, will we have time to do that today? Right? Will we have a true Harry Potter to the top side? Um, yeah, it's gonna be hard. I think that one's hard. We're gonna run out of time, but maybe we have the ability to get that one. Right? If it turns and rolls back down, then I'm really on board. Then I really love it. So maybe it does that. Maybe we can roll back down and close somewhere around this 110 mark if 110 keeps it strong here, and then we see a push back higher. Kind of push back up again. So kind of the best play we got. Euro pound. We know that this one is relatively flat. We're at minus pips in minus 4 pips in 24 hours, and you can see we're surging back up to make that one zero. We had the nice little hit here Thursday at 6:30 and push down, and then we bounce off the other side. It looks like twice now. Guy front run on the second run. Yeah, we hit that. We hit yesterday's. We talked about two targets. It looks like we hit the second target at like 11:30, 12 o'clock. Um, right after we got out, we had that big surge back down to that level. Um, Hmm. I think we wait for 85.89. I'm sorry, 85.98. I'm still okay with that level. Um, I wish it was with a fib level, but it's not. Yeah, it's currently not. Yeah, I think that's what I'm looking for. That and I'm gonna draw this here. Depending on how the weekend turns out, maybe we have a push a little bit lower. Right? Maybe there is. Yeah, maybe. Um, here again. Yeah. See, this is gonna be the yen story for everything. Look at this. How ugly is that? Right. We can take this off now. This bounce where we need it to go to. Yeah, I think this pulls back up. I think probably there. Uh, Unfortunately, this is gonna screw it all up. We just need it to reset. Right. We need to reset. Uh, it's gonna be the problem. Set this up for the weekend. Like to see where we close. We may have an artificial level that's created by the last candle today. Um, 148. Yeah, I mean, I want this one to keep going. I don't think I'm interested in really playing with this one until we get back up top. And I think an important level would be to look at is up here, the 156.23. It's a confirmed level. It got front run with the craziness of the yen. Um, yeah, I mean, good spot, right? Mm, yeah. Let's see. I got a lot of room around. Yeah, I'd like it, and I wanted to close somewhere up here. I'd like to look at maybe something along these lines next week, right? But as far as the Friday goes, we're not gonna have time to go up and hit it. There's nothing in here that we can play with. So just unfortunate. Again, this is that yen news gets really, really wonky, really, really fast, right? Unfortunately, that's how it works. So, all right, pound yen. All right, so we were talking about finding a bottom in this one, right? We talked about this pattern. We said, again, this area's been hit a few times. We need to find the pattern. Well, here's our pattern. Um, How's that for where a pattern would go to, right? Um, Pretty decent, right? We knew it was there. We knew it was coming in. We talked about 127, and funny enough, if I just put my bottom right there at 127, there you go. I missed it by a little bit. I was over by like 30 minutes, right? And then we're getting the push back up again. So right now, let's run this all the way down. You can see the 23 got sliced through like nothing, right? Um, I think two important levels to mark. One would be here. Again, backstop by the 61.8. And then we also have a basing level right here, the 50. So actually have two levels. Now, top side, again, there's a little bit of a Harry Potter situation in here, a little bit of it basing. Um, you know, problem is it's kind of big. in there. I think that makes the most sense right now. Okay. And again, it looks similar like this, but not the down run. It would just be this, right? This would be on this end, right? Instead of that. Right? So yeah, little Harry Potter high. We can get profit on this one early. Get your profit. 129.43. Pound yen. Also, all the craziness. Yeah. Look at this. Spike, spike, ba boom, ba boom. Retrace back again. So we're back up top to kind of where we were, right? We're above let's remove this. Let's remove this. Yep, let's take that off. We don't need this. Again, the yen and this is yen craziness. Right? Yen craziness is the best way to explain it. Unfortunately, look at this. We spent all this time. Let's see. Monday to Thursday before the news in this level. We shot all the way down, and now it looks like we are potentially going to suck right back into that thing, right? So yeah, craziness in 24 hours, right? Straight down and then straight back up. It's moved 24 pips or 34 pips, but the reality is it actually just moved a lot more. It went 400 and something pips down, right? So a lot, and all the way back up again. So, um, yeah, for right now, I'd say we're probably going to get sucked back into there. There should be some profit taking coming right now. Again, this was an old area, the 1, 2, 3, 4 smash through. Should be some sellers in there. Was front run. The question is, again, how much profit taking are we going to get in this one? So kind of hard to place a trade at this spot, particularly on a Friday. The UK's got 2 hours left in there. Yen is a proxy, and again, we had craziness in the yen last night. So not the ideal Friday type trading success here. So eh. If anything, maybe we take a bounce and we start rolling back down again, pull back a little bit again. But yeah, right now I'd be looking to set this one up with a Friday or a Sunday night kind of gap situation. Um, Looking for it to go right there. Maybe stop and ideally we gap lower and then hit it and go. I think that makes the most sense. But right now, unfortunately, we've just pushed up. And again, old level should see some selling in here. But the question is, how many we're going to see after this? Don't know. Don't know. So, it's there. Dollar CAD. All right, so dollar CAD. We're sitting at this top level, and we hit it a few times, right? We talked about this being a level over here with a little bit of a front run. Got a little bit of 50 in there. This action was out yesterday. We'll take this one off now. We'll clear it. Um, you can see front run, early morning. We hit it. We hit it again, went all the way back down, used that 32 again, came back up again. So I'm assuming the dollar CAD will probably stabilize in between 132.45 and 132 flat. Again, let's see what the consumer confidence number was. So a little worse than expected, right? A little bit worse. You know, a little bit, right? A little bit. All right. So yeah, I think we end up in there. We're probably dollar Swiss. All right. So dollar Swiss. So dollar Swiss, we ended up going higher. We mentioned that there was a Harry Potter. This one, a breakthrough 87. It came up and it based, it based, it based. It did give us a little pullback. Unfortunately, we typically like to see like at least, we say draw a triangle, right? We like to see like a one candle base, two candle bases, something like that, and a pull back down again. This one shot up and then right back down on a 15-minute. You can see it did the same thing. It kind of went, kind of pulled back. So the reality is, it kind of gave us the pullback. It closed here, pulled back down, and grabbed it and went, and it did go above. But it's not like the textbook, right? It's not like the textbook hit like we normally see. Um, but I will say, we were talking about it coming down and basing. We actually hit this base again. We hit it again. We hit it again. We were talking about a run through, and we talked about a target sitting down here at 86.15. This one is getting more likely at this point. Again, the same pattern we talked about. We needed to see a base, right? We need to see a base to drive in a pullback. We're kind of getting the base. Whoops. Thought I grabbed the whole thing. We're kind of getting the base in there now. If anything, what I would probably do is kind of look to bring this probably a bit higher and go back up. Um, I'd look for this one at this point, probably here. A lot of times when we see that base right above the zone, that's where the pullback comes to. Um, should be there, which is 13, 12 is fine. 2.99, I'm fine with that one. So probably more this. It's kind of almost like this is what we're looking for at this point. And again, maybe it collapses now without giving us a pullback. Unfortunately, that didn't really pull back. It went to this kind of old level that we had talked about, but we did have the base right below. So we were kind of expecting buyers to step in. And again, maybe it bounces one more time, but kind of looking at that right now. This is one of those ones that I do think will happen today. Just because of the timing. We do have plenty of room. The US will be running all day. And again, the Swiss will be out in very short order here. So we won't have as much influence coming in from that. So, it's there. If you guys need one, again, this is not the biggest mover. We're not talking about 90 something pips. It doesn't tend to move huge. It's only got a 35 pip 4 hour ATR and a 73 daily. So it's kind of set up. Um, Ideally, this one doesn't get too screwed up in the next little kind of reversal time frame. But overall, I'm not opposed to this one. So I'm not opposed to this one. Um, yeah. Oh, again. Yeah. So we talked about down. We talked about that. I missed it by a little bit. I kind of drew that I expected it to rally back up again. I'm close, right? Close. There's where we are right now. And I said we would be there just a little bit lower. Where are we? I missed it by 8 pips. 8 pips in 30 minutes. But I was pretty close. Look where that one ended, right? That was pretty close. Pretty close. But kind of the same thing. I'm like, we can help adjust this one for next week. You know, you can say, look at the whip all back and forth, right? Up, down, up again, whip down. I mean, this is a double whip. Look at this. Open, as low as this, as high as this, and closed, right? So you had a whip from here to here. And then we had a whip from here to here, right? And it did grab the level up here that we had talked about. Actually, should be that. We did touch it. And then our third whip is here, all the way down here. So pretty crazy. Again, whip, whip, whip. Right? Boom, boom, boom. And now we're just retracing all the way back up again. So right now, again, I don't really want to get into this one until we get back up here. I think this one is more of kind of see where we are. That 143 level. Whoops. All right. He messaged me and I thought I was going to have to go get him. Yeah. So whoever the guy is that's listening to the program when we talked about 80 being a no-no target, yeah, we're back up to 79.98. We were getting a nice push down, and it kind of just set us up, right? That was our 930 candle down, and now we're punching higher in consumer confidence, maybe affecting this one a little bit. Um, but yeah, unfortunately, this is kind of what I was scared of. I didn't, again, 80 was kind of a hard border, and now we've kind of punched through that border, and now it's like, oh God, is this going to be the new magnet? Like, is this going to be the new floor set in there for oil? Um, I don't. Ideally, I don't want this to happen. But this is what I was afraid of, that 80 was going to be the thing. I don't want to close at 80. I think it's a really bad precedent going into the weekend with it closing at 80. It's great that everybody else feels that, or that, you know, a lot of the important people out there feel like we're starting to tame inflation. But if we remember what started inflation, it was oil, right? Oil is what started it all. Um, and I feel it's very dangerous for oil to be back over 80, especially because, like, we're going to avoid a recession. That's great. People got money. All right, let's jack fuel costs again. Because, again, there is a trickle down effect with fuel costs. That's undeniable. I mean, there's no questioning whether it happens. We ship food, right? We ship food. Um, Shipping is not free. When that gets factored in the shipping cost, it's going to get directly passed down again. So I think, again, that's why there's a core number that excludes food and energy because they're very volatile. But the real, again, you're spending $4 a gallon for gas. Inflation is real, right? Inflation is real. If your shirt is an extra 50 cents higher, it's not the end of the world. But the gas that you're filling up maybe once a week, right? Maybe twice a week, you know, when you sense that it's a dollar more per gallon and it's $20 more a week, that starts to hit families. So, um, yeah, and it's the only one. It's only a commodity in the red right now, but it's only down 0.07 and it's surging. So I really hope we don't close. This is going to be the match. Now, remember, this market technically closes a little bit earlier than everything else. Obviously, the futures market stays open. But if we take our Friday to Sunday, we're getting close and we're sitting above the 80 right now. This is like above and below. It's like, ugh. Yeah. All right. Natural gas. So let's drag this down. All right. So natural gas. We got This one kind of went back up. We mentioned this level here yesterday. Like, we talked about, this is kind of where the top was, kind of grabbed it here. It had been there, but we were concerned about it because it was a peak and another peak and a little peak again. And then it went even higher. And then it kind of tested it and tested again. It ended up using it again this morning. Let that 9 o'clock candle and push down again. But I mean, if you got to ask yourself, how many more sellers can really be sitting in this level? I don't know that there's many, right? It's just been tested so many times at this point. It would just purely be a guesstimate of, is that a good spot? Is it not a good spot? I think the 272 is really. I think that's really the next level we can really start looking at. Actually, we can probably adjust it up a little bit. 273. We'll go 273.5. Yeah, we'll go 273.5. I'm sorry, 272.5 would be the next area we're looking for shorts. Now, actually, this one did actually use this level this morning. Look at that. Missed that one. This loan was formed at 1 o'clock yesterday, and that's what it used this morning. 7 o'clock too. 7 o'clock turn. Not horrible. So let's take this one off. Didn't see that one. I didn't look at this one last night. I had a coach last night, so not bad. Let's mark these two off right here. Yeah, I think that's good. We're sitting right in the middle. Yeah. Again, I'd be very, very hesitant to touch this one again. It's Friday. The market closes a little bit early. Look for 272 and 256 on the bottom. Gold. Gold surging back, right? And then when we look at the dollar, right? We look at the dollar. It is turning. It literally took a bounce right off 102. We talked about psychological levels. 102 was a big one. And we knew that we had a Harry Potter that we came through. Now, this Harry Potter was a little bit off, right? That's what the zone looked like. It did give us a pullback. It didn't really go back to a great level, unfortunately. before it took off. Maybe there's another opportunity to take this one short down here. But the reality is, we're probably looking for this one. Is probably the best bet. Maybe. I mean, I think either two of these could be probably pretty decent. I just don't know which one. I just know that there's a big area right here. Um, I just know that there's a big area sitting right here. Oops, can't even tell that color right there. Until we get back down to buying at 167. So looking for a short, right? In regards to that, again, weaker dollar, you'd expect this to go back up. Parabolic move, we talked about finding a bottom. So this is a really, really choppy bottom. Very, very hard to kind of determine. You could say, all right, listen, there's the bottom that we're looking for. Yeah, and you can see it kind of limped around and kind of hit it a few times in there. Wasn't the cleanest of entries, and this is what happens with parabolic moves, right? When you're looking for a green, red, green, you have a green, red, green right here, right? Actually, you don't because this red went below that green. Here's a green, this red went below. So here's your green. And let me draw this just so everybody understands. So this is a weird case where it's like kind of like a little bit of a gap type scenario. Like, oh, wait, but it went down here. You do it by colors. So there would be your green. Then you have your red that does not go lower. And then there's your close above. So technically, there's your confirmation that's going higher. And it did. Went down, came back. If you really wanted to use that, you could have taken it again. This one, for the most part, maybe we get a little bit of help at 50, maybe the 61.8, but really until we get all the way up top again, there's no real major areas of selling, and that would be all up at 1979. Okay. I mentioned yesterday I expect gold to come back higher. Again, I still think there's more room to run. Silver looks almost the same. Now, we talked about it coming down. We are trying to find a bottom in there. This one kind of did it. You could say that it kind of did it here, right? It drove lower, came back up, it based, and then pulled back down again. So very, very similar to this, right? It's kind of what it looks like. Now, this one as well. Again, I expected this would be a little bit higher back up there. I expected 250, 24, 2450 today. Um, you have a green, you have a red, you kind of have a green right here. Again, kind of a peak, but it needed to pull back to a zone. I would say your red, green, red probably kicked in more here than anything else. Again, when trying to draw this, you're always trying to like say, okay, well, if the green started here, then that would be your level of risk. And it's kind of big, right? Versus if you have a green, red, green, you can take this on this side and say, okay, there's our green, red, green, right? And then we had, actually, you got to go from the bottom. Look something along those lines, right? There's your confirmation. It kind of pulled back and then went. So it's reversing. Um, pattern over there. The reality of this one is it's already a little bit late to get in. We got a lot of room to run all the way back up to 25. Right now, it's not really having a lot of momentum, but we are looking for this one to go higher. I really think like if we can close, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we close up near that 2450. And even if we close here and then we kind of open up again, I actually won't be surprised if we like close high, pull back and touch wherever it closed, and then we take off. And whoops, too many. Wish I could delete it. There's got to be a way to delete segments of that, right? But anyway, we close here, we open, we pull back, and then go. Right? Is kind of what I'm looking for. Yeah, yeah. It's just not as much momentum. I'm surprised we don't have more on this one. The reality is it's just not moving. But again, same. They learned basically the same. Big push. We're looking for reversals again. Very, very choppy, right? And kind of the same thing. And this is what we saw with all of them, right? It's all right. Let's see. We got Apple wise. Yeah, Apple came down and found. I'm actually surprised Apple dropped that much yesterday. Yeah, Apple's rallying back up again. Tesla also. Yeah, we talked about kind of finding a base. Look at it actually needed this base, not that one. So needed some more. Wow, go Tesla. Tesla's gonna have a hard time at 8. Uh, collapse in. All right, let's see what we had as far as opening print goes today. So this is what we drew yesterday. As you can see, it was the only one clean. It got out at about 10:45. So after it finally completed, after we got out, and we talked about kind of seeing what that top looked like, it was right there. That was the confirmation on the top. You know, if you wanted to kind of say, okay, listen, we're looking for more, you could have used that same level. But again, same pattern in. We drew it yesterday. It's out, and then it just continued to deteriorate all the way back down again. On the bottom, it was kind of a weird bottom. You can see that it used the bottom that went in. I don't love that candle. Um, Again, the timing of it was also, I don't know. Do you want to take it in the afternight or overnight? Sure. It hit it again, and then just again parabolic move down, very very fast, very very sharp, one direction, and all we're doing is retracing back up again. So you know, obviously this pattern could present itself again. If anything, I think we probably come back up into 46.29, right? 46.29. Yeah. Hmm. All right. Not there's not a lot of slating on this one. You can see right here, 9:30, we did pull back a little bit. Unfortunately, we're kind of coming up again. I think this one was kind of risky, right? We can see that there was a basing level sitting right here. Now let's turn this back yellow. We can see there was a basing level. So we were sitting here at about 9:15. We hit it. We pushed down. 9:15. I'm sorry, 9. We went reversed on it. 9:15. We pushed into it again. And then you can see the 9:30 candle was kind of there. So it was kind of pulling back, but is this a confirmed level? Not really, because it was kind of bouncing off of it already and it was driving into it again. So, not really kind of what we're looking for. We're looking for a formation, then kind of a touch in the overnight to kind of give us a telltale sign. This was 2 o'clock yesterday. There was nothing in the overnight. It was already trending higher and it was pulling back and reaching for more orders, and it just wasn't there. So, I think at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if we can get up to 46.29 today. Should end up in the green overall, and I think it's justified. Again, all the gloom and doom was out yesterday. It is summertime, lower volume. Feel Good Friday is in. I think it makes complete sense. A little bit late again. Maybe we get a pullback now, right? Maybe we can get a pullback. I mean, Wall Street could always screw this one up for us real quick here, and you know, CNBC can start talking about some gloom and doom, and the market could turn quickly. Again, lower volume. It happens more often. But right now, I feel like the market is justified to be up at 46.29. So, yeah, I would say as long as there's no craziness, we should continue to go higher. Maybe it turns, flips, and ends up a little bit flat, but I think overall, it's Feel Good Friday day. NQ, same thing. MQ had a level, wasn't really great. Again, 8:30 went down, 9 went up, 9:15, right? 9:15 here, pulling back. Not really confirmed level. We knew we had nothing over here, and we had sellers up top. So kind of the same thing. It was just a trend continuation. The chop back and forth was as the U.S. session was rolling in. Again, great levels? No, not great levels. But you know, we knew that there was the trend, and the overall kind of emphasis was that this is going in that direction. So yeah, okay, but not really opening print. So not really what we're looking for. As far as trying to take a setup. And again, it is summertime. Just keep that in mind. You know, I get the occasional email or questions like, well, does it work every day? Sometimes there's 3 trades, sometimes there's 4 trades, sometimes there's none, right? Again, it's just one arrow in your quiver, right? If you think about, look at like Hawkeye, right? The Marvel character. Every arrow he has does something different, right? He's got all kinds of fancy arrows, and opening print is the same way, right? YM. Same craziness at the open. You can see that the 9:30 or look green. We were expecting a red, but again, not pulling back, and it was bouncing off the same level, right? Same little hookup as yesterday, and we kind of already hit it. We pushed down, and then the green didn't go as high. You're like, oh, this is going to go lower, and it did. It went up, but it went much lower, and we're sitting there now. I mean, obviously, there's going to be selling pressure. YM is the weakest at 0.48. Again, consumer confidence is down. It's kind of a more manufacturing thing as well. So, yeah, it's not the Not the glowing perfect setup that we would like. Again, a short trade, sure. Yeah, absolutely. It's more of a short based trade, but nothing that we can use for entry on this one. So again, as far as opening print goes, it's a wah 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 on Friday. And that just tends to be how it goes, right? Some days it's great. They're all bouncing off the same type of level from yesterday's craziness, and that's where we are. But again, if the market does start to turn and pull back, I think YM is the way to play it. And would I want to use this zone? It's not the best, but I do feel that we'll have the ability to go lower from this level. Okay. Russell. Okay. Russell. Same exact thing. Russell did give us actually a pullback at 9.915 went higher. We knew there was a zone kind of sitting there, and this is actually a kind of a double zone. You kind of had this touch right here, a push, and then a confirmation, and that's where we're hitting right now. It hit it, pulled back, hit it, pulled back, hit it, and now it's pulling back again. It should technically break through. This is the third hit. It's got buyers just a little bit below, so we should see it continue to go higher. Um, Kid is melting down. You're not happy, boy. Really, until we get back up top again, I don't think we have any selling coming back in, and we'll just make this 2008 dead on. Very interesting year for the markets. Bottom wise, let's remove this, and again, this is more setting this up more for next week, and just saying, hey, listen, there's probably a top, there's a bottom. It is pretty deep. Don't love it. That's where we're at. Russell's the second strongest, but again, we just got to make sure we don't turn super negative at 10:30. And again, if we do, this is where it happens. But it is confirmed, and then we've hit. So we should be running out of sellers in this area. The question is, was there just enough sellers to kind of tip their hand on this one to start kind of putting it back down? And again, 10:30. This is exactly when we see those reversals. So it's kind of what we got to watch out for. But really, until we get up here, I'm not really looking to sell much, right? I don't think it needs to be overly negative today. I think with everything we saw, with the news, kind of what we're seeing. Again, this is not really much different. The employment clause coming down, absolutely more of a weak type dollar phase. And again, sentiment, sure, dollar weak. And that's exactly what we're seeing is kind of this weak dollar. And again, we're looking for the base and looking for a push. So again, dollar continues to deteriorate back down today. It doesn't matter. Here's all the craziness. And then we're, again, finding the top using whole number and then looking to kind of have a weak dollar. I think today, the rest of today is good. And again, look at this thing. It's taunting me. It's taunting me. God, 80.10. Ugh. We just did search up to 80.42. So yeah, definitely some volatility in oil today. Yeah, not loving this one. So here's what it is. All right, let's go and do our final drawing of the week. Right? Final drawing of the week. No Debbie again. I wonder if Debbie's on vacation this week. She may be. She may be on vacation. She's probably on the boat. I think she's on the boat. She could be. It's summertime. It's slow. Having those frosty adult beverages, right? It's not wine time, right? Well, I guess it could be, right? It could be some whites with some ice, right? You're not drinking reds. Your fishbowl reds are gonna happen in the fall when it's cold, right? So I know Debbie's in for those. All right. Let's I'll give you guys another 10 seconds and then I'll shut this one down. All right. We'll close right on the 10. All right, here we go. Ending out the week here. Things are a little bit more consistent, right? 5-2-2, basically 50-50. Winner of today's drawing is. Ooh. Look at that. Oh. Her chances of winning were 11.11. I feel like that's something special. 11-11. Maybe the gods are shining on Marina. What's the gas prices? Where are you at right now? I hope to God when I said that the 240, what is it, 643? That's what the CEO said where he lives, where he filled up. What are gas prices where you are? Just curious. Just curious. I'm gonna mark this giveaway. I'll give it a little. I'm gonna go give her 100. She gets 100 for today. There we go. Give you 100. It's a second victory. 5-ish. Oh God, I would cry. 5-ish is rough. Ugh. 5-ish. Oh, it's horrible. Be switching to electric. Ugh, horrible. All right. So with that, I'm out of here. 10:30 Friday. Remember, short trading day today. Try to get out, be done, get away from the computer. Enjoy your weekend. Do your setups on Sunday night. I think we're gonna have some opportunities with all the retracements today, and then we'll start the week fresh next week. So with that, I'm out of here. Have a great weekend. Stay cool, stay dry, have some fun, get out of the house, and I'll see you next week. Thank you again, and I'll see you then.